What a great crowd and what an exciting morning we have ahead. 10 of the most talented speakers in our organization are competing here today in the finals of the International Speech Contest, vying to become the world champion of public speaking.
A speaker will be disqualified from the contest if he or she speaks less than 4 minutes, 30 seconds, or over 7 minutes and 30 seconds. We're about to begin. Audience, are you ready? Timers, are you ready? Then let the contest begin. Speaker number 1.
Fear of public speaking is the #1 fear, which, if you think about it, that's so absurd. I mean, you could be facing a bear about to rip your head off, and that's less scary.
I was struck by the power that the spoken word has had in determining who I am.
People who have accent problems are terrified.
What if I couldn't speak? Would it mean that I was weak?
Shoot.
Would everyone say?
People who have physical problems are terrified.
Clammy hands, upset stomach, dry mouth.
Consider, for instance,
Just your average Joe is terrified.
Was never here. Would you ever know me? If I won't speak, if I'm too weak, who will tell my story? When this song fades to black, words will find their way back.
Even though you may be afraid to share what you have, your life tells a story. And there's someone out there who needs to hear it.
I'm Dave, I'm the best man, obviously. I've known Clayton and Alicia for a little while. Well, good while, I don't know. But just wanted to say that I'm not big on speeches. I can personally say that all right.
I was on my way to an educational psychology class. I had to do a 12-minute speech. And I was so nervous, I was having heart palpitations. So we went to the hospital and they admitted me for observation. And I stayed for a good amount of time. I had a nervous condition.
Primal fear can make you ill. It can make people pass out. It can make you throw up. It can make you run off to the bathroom. It's a physical thing.
Teachers, fellow graduates, my nose is really bleeding right now.
It's the unknown. It's the abyss we all fear. But it's the fear that you'll make a fool of yourself.
Recent polls have shown a fifth of Americans can't locate the U.S. on a world map. Why do you think this is?
All eyes are on you. Everybody's listening to every single word, and I'm the only one talking. I remember before going on stage, I was just like, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap.
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as.
Let's just say I had an outer body experience. When I was out of my body, I guess I couldn't really tell what I was feeling in my body.
I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. or should help South Africa.
I think there was a poet years ago who said, how do you tell the dancer from the dance? Well, when you give a speech, it is you. So if you get bad vibes from giving a speech, if you get negative evaluation, if you think you did a bad job, it's not simply I did a bad job as a speaker. I'm a bad person in some ways, gets communicated as well to yourself.
Switching to Ball State men's tennis, it seems last week player on, it seems every week that you have a player.
You know, as it's happening, you know, I couldn't help but think, how much longer is this gonna last? It just kept slowing down. And all you wanna do is for it to end.
Later he gets the rebound, passes it to the man, shoots it, and boom goes the dynamite.
All I could think about was, how much longer is this gonna be? How much longer is this gonna be? And then once it was over, it was like a big just change in everything, as if you were brought back to reality.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot for that look into sports, Brian. Yeah. And when we come back, we'll have one final look at weather. Stay tuned.
I couldn't walk into a restaurant by myself. Just too shy. I was out of my element. No self-confidence with respect to society, if you will. Until I had been a Toastmaster for a while, and then that just faded away.
Many people do not have any idea what Toastmasters does. All they think we are is a public speaking organization. Some of us walk through the door as better speakers.
Wow! Can you feel the excitement in this room?
Some of us walk through the door really anxious to say, yeah, let's do this, I'm so excited, I just want an audience because I love to talk.
I was activated by seed of a very complex man.
And some of us walk through the door and say, I have no idea why I'm here. I just know I have to be here.
Thomas Edison credits his mother's belief in him with
Everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's trying to be better at it. And there's no money in it. It's all about sort of personal growth and guts. And everybody's trying to improve both. And well, it got me started. So I like it.
I stared at the return address, MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, the graduate school of my dreams. Would it begin with congratulations? Oh, you've got to be kidding.
There are people who do join Toastmasters who are excellent speakers who feel they need to brush up. Then they hear about the World Championship, and chances are they'll go for it.
The Toastmasters International Speech Competition starts out with over 30,000 people from around the world. And it starts off in the club.
All these years, I, Steve U, found the money. Here it is, the Holy Grail. The Apple iPhone.
You have to win the Toastmasters Club contest to then go to the next level. That becomes the area.
If you can't tell by just looking at me, but I am a fencer. No, not one of these white picket fence kind. The Zeppe!
The winners of the area then compete at the next level, which is a division level.
In a split second, that kid thought I was some kind of a dork. Usually it takes people hours to figure that out.
The district competition, much more intense, much more competition, and more pressure.
The best. If it is to be, it is up to me. Never ever wait
on somebody else.
The winners there then go on to the regional. The regional is the 5th level of 6.
And I awoke in the hospital with tubes growing out of my arms and machines hanging over me, lurking like vultures. Doctor to my left, nurse to my right. What happened, I asked. Well, you just had an episode of sustained monomorphic ventricular tachycardia. Is that English? You had a heart attack. Oh. Oh. You know, we hear that the fear of public speaking, what I am doing right at this moment, is greater than the fear of death. Not even close.
Representing Region 2, Robert McKenzie.
And the first place winner,
Helen Williams. Rich Hopkins.
It is a platform from which you can spring into the world of public speaking, should you win, or even if you come in second or third. Professionally.
When I joined Toastmasters, it was a social activity. It was just something to meet people, have adult conversations, and I could get up and BS my way through a speech, and I'd be pretty good. But Billy Jones came up to me after about a year of this and said that I actually had a chance, if I would get serious about it, to win the World Championship of Public Speaking. If I could do something with my speaking that would make a difference.
At a sales job, we just weren't making it. We were just running on this treadmill, and it just seemed pointless.
I can go out and get a job and make $30,000 a year, but I've got 6 kids.
We just kept struggling. And so we sat at McDonald's and we talked it out. We said, what do we have to lose? A dead-end job or his dream?
Right now, supporting my family as best as I can, pretty much strictly on presentation coaching.
I'm living my dream. I have 6 beautiful, wonderful kids, and I'm staying home and raising them, and Rich supports that. And so absolutely I support his dream, because his dream is my dream. Give up. It's not worth it. You need to just quit this nonsense. It seems like everybody has told us that.
Her family doesn't do anything to me inside. What it does is it destroys her. Because they go after her, they tell her she's a fool for staying with me. They tell her that she deserves better than me. And that destroys her, which destroys me. And I'm so tired of worrying about what other people think I should do to take care of my family, what I should do to be a regular, normal person, instead of going after my dream. You know, if my daughter grows up and marries somebody like me, I know I'd be worried about my daughter. I'd be worried about my grandkids. I wish they would understand that going after the World Championship is something of value, that it is something that I can market. And if I can combine being one of the best speakers in the world with being one of the best marketers in the world, who knows where I could go. January 10th, 2006, I got up and could not walk. And I took the day off. I mean, that's what I always did. I knew it was going to get better because it always got better. but it didn't get better. And they don't know what caused it. They thought it was polio. It's not polio. It's not MS. It's not anything identifiable. It just is. So I had ended up with an ankle that was literally shot. Because I could do a fusion, it probably won't work. I can put a brace on you, or I could amputate, which I'd never thought of. I'd never considered that I would actually have to amputate my leg. It's like a kick in the stomach. I remember walking down the stairs, going in the car, calling my wife up on the cell phone, and saying, Christy, the doctor says he thinks he should cut it off. He thinks that's an option. Can you believe that? I went into a prostheticist to get fitted for that brace. Well, let's do this first. Let's just see. And he was an amputee. And we got to talking about how much more freedom I would have as an amputee, how much less pain I would feel. He didn't talk me into it, but he opened my eyes as to what it could do for me, how it would change my life. 4 days later, I'm in the hospital losing the leg, getting rid of it. I mean, I guess I didn't lose it, I gave it away. I gave it up. And I spend the next month recovering, writing a completely new speech. Everything I'm doing right now, I'm putting full force into winning the World Championship this year. My kids were very excited when I got to come home. They'd never seen me actually get up and do things with them the way I was suddenly able to do them. You smell that? There's nothing like that new foot smell. I have the opportunity to do it, and I'm not going to come out of it regretting the speech that I gave or the effort that I put in. That was crap. If I don't win the World Championship this year, my wife and I have already decided, unless I take second, if I take second, she might let me try again. I might let me try again. But if not, it's time to push it aside. I don't think other people focus on it as much as I do, which is why I don't think they win as much as I do. But I still need to win the big one.
I know it's worth it. And in the end, we're just going to come out and hopefully, I won't say it, but we'll feel it, that the I told you so. You see us now, we're successful, and shame on you for telling us to give up on our dreams.
I am the world champion.
Right.
Our next guest is on his way to compete in the World Championship of Public Speaking. Welcome Charlie Wilson, who's from State College and is the Regional Toastmaster Champion. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. I am one of the last 10 contestants for the World Championship of Public Speaking, which will be held in Calgary, Canada on August 16th.
My name's Charlie Wilson. We're sitting here in State College, Pennsylvania, and the club that I am competing from is the ARL Penn State Pingers. You probably wondered why we're called the Pingers. It's because we work at a laboratory that does underwater research and sonar, so we bing every once in a while. And this is my wife. Introduce yourself, dear.
I'm Carolyn Wilson. We've been married since March 29th of 2008.
I had to live this long in order to learn what was important.
Carolyn was 3 years behind me in high school, and I had always admired her at a distance because I was a fairly shy boy.
And after I went away to college, her dad wouldn't let her date me anymore because I was a college boy now. I was a fast boy.
And so we went our separate ways.
I came home one day and checked my email, and there was a message from classmates, and it said that 2 people from my school had entered that week and had joined. And so I checked to see who they were, and Charlie was one of them. So I sent him a message.
Early in the year, I got an email, and it said, "Hello, Charlie. Do you remember me? Carolyn.
It was about 3-4 days later, I got an email back.
And I said, it's been a long time. What have you been doing? And she said, well, I was a nurse. I have 3 lovely children and 3 fantastic grandchildren. I said, by the way, you didn't mention a husband. And she came back and said, I've been divorced for some time. By the way, you didn't mention a wife. And I said, well, I've been divorced for some time. How about we go to dinner? I drove to her place, wondering all the way whether I should be doing this or not, whether she would remember me or not. And we went back to her place and talked for a while, and I was about to leave. And I said goodbye and went to shake her hand. And she put her arms around my neck and kissed me. She went and got the yearbook, and there was a note in there that I had signed with my picture. And she brought it out and said, over all the years under the trying times, I always brought this out to look at it. And I had written on there, to the cutest girl in the freshman class.
But he left, and I stood inside and leaned against the door and thought, was a nice dinner, I'll probably never see him again.
I emailed the next day.
Some glad morning when this life is over, I'll fly away.
Shonda's very much a family person, and this is my nephew's graduation, and that's her there at the graduation hanging out with my sister Angela. As you can see, that's Dennis, LaShonda's son. Probably the last Thanksgiving with my mom, but as you can see, since her illness, it's completely changed her look.
I gave my club level speech 1 week out of the hospital. That speech is 7 minutes, and I looked at the Bureau of Vital Statistics, and it basically said that in 7 minutes' time, 750 people died. But I wasn't one of those people.
Lupus is a disease in which the body's immune system starts making antibodies and immune responses directed at you, the person that has the disease.
It was basically the joint stiffness and the chronic fatigue. Then over the years, of course, it's progressed into things that have gotten a lot more interesting.
In LaShonda's case, she's had problems with her kidney over the years, which is kind of our marker of the most severe thing that happens in lupus when the kidney get involved.
I got a staph infection, and almost immediately it caused my system to shut down. And there was talk at that time of having to amputate both of my feet from about my arch forward. They ended up only having to fully amputate 4 toes, partially amputate 4, and then I got to keep 2. After the surgery, there was this moment of shock where I really didn't want to look at it because it's a part of you. But then at the end of the day, it's just a part of you, and it's just a tiny part. And what really matters is what's in my soul and the story that I have to tell. That's why it gets difficult sometimes now dealing with the insurance companies, because lupus still has a lot of things that are strange, and they don't want to take care of this or that because they feel that it's experimental because of the lack of research. So they want to make sure that everything is medically necessary. And I'm going, do you think I would really walk into a room, drop my clothes in front of some ugly old man, allow him to inflate a balloon in my behind if it wasn't necessary? It's not an original thought. I didn't wake up and think, you know, it'd be nice today if somebody made balloon animals in my rectum.
And I'll tell anybody, there's absolutely nothing that this young lady right here can't do. And to see her go through everything that she's been through, it's probably been the most, I'm a crybaby, but...
Do you want to borrow some money or something?
No.
To see everything that she's going through has broken my heart. And if I could take it away, I would. We have a little inside joke because I prayed when she was so sick and they didn't think she was going to make it. And she did the John 3:16 thing. She gave me her only son to raise. And she said, Sonny, do a couple of things. Make sure he sees the Eiffel Tower. She said, make sure that he goes skiing because I have the Raynaud's and I can't take him to the ski slopes. She says, you make sure you whip his behind when he's not, when he's disobedient. She says, but you make sure you take him to church. And you make sure that you love him like our mother loved us. And to me, that was the biggest honor to have her say, I trust you with the most important person in my life. I don't want to practice and constantly look at my watch, so I would go to the kitchen, set the microwave for 7 minutes, come back into the dining room, fully act out the speech without any concept of what the time was. The microwave would go off right in the kitchen next to the dining room, but quite often my son would hear the microwave timer go off. He comes bolting out of his room thinking it's dinner time, and I'm going, no, just rehearsing. It's showtime. Here I would be, 8 years old, and my mother would tell me, LaShonda, go on. I will be right here when you get back. And I would take center stage thinking to myself, not if there is a God. I intend to be the world champion, but I know that I'm loved, and that makes all the difference.
Sometimes life does change in an instant, doesn't it? JT had been the teacher the whole time, and I was the student. Oh, I got that mixed up. Yeah. JT had been trying to teach me all this time, but I wasn't ready to receive the lesson. Has that ever happened to you? The teacher sitting directly across from you, but you weren't ready. My ego was in the way. Oh, I see what I did there. Okay. Okay, I got it.
Listening, teaching, being a teacher. There we go. Thank you. I'm just having a mind blank.
And when he says, you're pathetic, I know you don't like coming here for me.
Why don't we just eliminate that whole section? You're pathetic. I know you don't like coming here for me. All that other stuff, maybe just...
Not necessary. Yep.
I enjoy my family, my kids come first. I love to speak. I'd like to take that to the next level. I'd love to do that full time.
I was up till 4 last night. I just thought there's gotta be a better way here. I think this morning I pretty much gave up on that one. Really? Because it's, the lesson is I taught the guy how to read. And his lesson to me was, stop being such a baby. I can't, you can't make a speech out of that, right? So I think I've just about given up on that one.
This is part of the process, part of the process. Maybe that's the speech in itself. What is the process? Who knows?
What other moments like this have you had in your life?
Nothing comes close to this.
So developing the new speech and everything, I would say in practicing, maybe 80 hours. It was a substantial amount of time because you figure I worked on it every single day for at least a couple of hours. Was I going to walk out of that hallway as Dr. Catherine Morrison? Or had I just committed myself to paying off 30 years worth of student loans for nothing?
Okay, thoughts. What hits you?
Yeah, Kathy, part of that story is missing. I want to know why you didn't think you were going to get the PhD up to that point.
I was always afraid to actually speak. It's almost like I had no voice when I was a kid. And now to actually take the time and have honed my skills, and now I have what I think is a strong voice. You know how they cock their head like they understand? It means I've come a long way. A woman has not won since 1986, so I look at me being in this contest not just for me, but really opening the door for women to actually become part of the world champions again. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. Madam Toastmaster.
You know, I'm gonna tell you straight up, I like women like you, feisty.
Thanks, I guess.
So, Emily, what are you doing tomorrow night? Got any plans for New Year's Eve?
The main difference with acting than public speaking is that you are not engaging the audience. You're engaging another actor. So your play acting is comfortable because you are both on the same page. When I get in front of people, and I come from a history of being very insecure as a person, as an individual. So even up to after maybe 15, 16 years of acting, I still had trouble with those cameras in front of my face.
Anytime I'm going to go on stage, I want to do well, and that's really all it is. I know I don't set goals for a reason, because it helps me to not be disappointed when I don't reach them. I have never, ever said to myself, my goal is to be on the international stage as one of the 10 finalists. Actually, my goal was never to say that I wanted to be a public speaker. I joined it for, so that I could, say something funny at a birthday party without freezing up. There is not one moment that I don't think that in the back of my head that I have to go up to Calgary in whatever it is, 2 weeks, and give a speech, of which I still haven't finalized yet.
3 days after I gave the speech at the regionals, because I talk about how this experience when I woke up in the hospital and was told I had a heart attack, I just had another one, which was June 10th. I have a confession. I can no longer, at this point in my life, keep secret something that I have known about myself since my early days of college. Madam Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, I am an atheist. The first doctor I had said, don't plan your life beyond a 5-year sort of run. And then after 5 years, we'll see where you are, and then we can decide whether you got another year or another 5 years or whatever. That was in 1997. So I've actually surpassed the 90% percentile. Thank you. When I see the faces of my children, I love that. When I see my wife come into a room, I love that. When I look out and see all you here with me, I love this.
But then you ended it strong. And that's why if you take that, move it to the beginning, that ending becomes even stronger because you're building to it. And there's a crescendo to the final point about you as an atheist, regardless of whether you believe in God or not, live your life deeply with faith.
My mortality is different than everybody else's, and am I going to change because of it? Well, I trust that I won't. But I don't know what value that would be to tell other people.
I'll tell you what's funny, her son is getting into that now. She can out-rap him all day long.
Because I'm the hardest rap artist, never hesitate to tell one. You wonder how I got to be the ROYL one? If God is the king and supreme and I'm his offspring, that would make me a queen, know what I mean? This gets so weird because when I went to one of our conferences, and I came through the door and everybody goes, there she is. So I turn around, I'm like, oh, they mean me. Hi, LaShonda Rundles.
Is this your first convention?
It is.
Hi.
To meet you. LaShonda.
Paul is my name.
Nice to meet you,
I'm
Paul.
from Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah, I came all the way to listen to you.
Well, thank you. This is my sister, Sonia.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Our international directors.
Very proud of our contestant.
Yes. The competition is stiff. One of the guys that won the international, I guess, the inter-district, he's like 5 times been on the stage, so he's comfortable with the whole thing.
Yes.
So all of it's brand new, but Got to take them as they come.
Absolutely.
The
Just
bigger
remember,
they are.
I'd just like to thank my district for the tremendous support and the friendship that's been mine for 33 years now.
I think you've got Jim Keys beat. It's about damn time you win the thing, isn't it?
I've been here 4 times now, and that's more than anyone still living. So if anyone wants to be frightened by that sort of thing, go ahead and be frightened. I can live with that. And if you're not frightened by it, big deal. I can live with that too. Most first-timers seem to spend the whole week sort of skulking in their bedroom, which is what I did, but I'd rather get out and be distracted because you can get so obsessed. If we said it or did it, then it's our blame, our shame, our fame, our responsibility. But when I look around, I see a world full of people who have learnt their 3 R's, but have seemed to have learned nothing about how to live a good life, a rich, rewarding, and fulfilling life.
What do you think about, for emphasis, instead of increasing the volume or the speed there, that you come down on a whisper on the third nothing? How do you feel about it? Nothing, nothing, and then
This is my second time coming to this level. First time going through.
Oh, really? So you ready for the World Championship?
Yeah, definitely. I got my speech prepared. And I told my then 5-year-old son, serve this to grandma who's resting in the room, just like mommy used to do. So I watched him in the corner of the eye. He put 1 slice on the plate and took it. Halfway, he stopped and pinched and munched 1 piece. I said, son, there are 11 more pieces there. You could have enjoyed the entire 11 pieces, but you still chose to pinch grandma's slice. You greedy pig! While still munching, he replied, this is what mommy does! I've already got tips from even the past champions. I've read about them. Even Vikas Jingran, the last year's champion, gave me some tips, and especially Jock Elliott.
Faster, higher, stronger, that's the motto of the Olympics. But to reach the podium at the so-called Olympics of Oratory, Toastmasters International Speech Contest, louder, tighter, clearer could be the motto of the day. Martin Pressey of Wetaskiwin is hoping to take home the title of World Champion at the International Toastmasters Competition this weekend in Calgary.
So tell me how it'll happen on Saturday.
Sure, the contest starts at 9 o'clock in the morning, and there will be 10 speakers. And from there, each speech is about 7 minutes in length, a little bit longer, a little bit shorter sometimes. And then after each speech, there's a few minutes of break time where the judges evaluate the speech, and then the next speaker comes on, and then we do that for 10 speakers. It takes about 2 hours to have the contest. Once the contest is done, they announce the winners fairly quickly.
I'm going to be up all night, Friday night probably. Yeah, it's been that bad. I've written, I can't tell you how many speeches. I bet it's close to like 15 or 20. And it's just been garbage. Garbage, 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 garbage.
Well, let's see. I can only pay half my rent at the beginning of the month, and so we're getting evicted, and my wife is dealing with that. My kids just got their stuff for school supplies, and I don't have any money to pay for that. And I'm sitting in here in Calgary trying to chase a dream instead of home taking care of my family. So, yeah, put that in your film. Well, I mean, this is what my speech is about. If you want to be unbelievable, sometimes you have to do the unthinkable. And there are people watching this movie right now that are thinking I'm an idiot. And that I'm an irresponsible parent and an irresponsible husband. And I would say that would be true if my wife wasn't completely on board with this. If my wife and I hadn't agreed to go through this. And even though there's a lot of pain and a lot of struggle and a lot of uncertainty, it'll be worth it. It'll probably be a different documentary as opposed to fear of public speaking. This would be the fear of your life falling apart while you chase your dream. Are you full pro or?
Yes, full pro, full time now.
Excellent. See, when I grow up, I want to be Dilip Abhisakara.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
Mr. Hopkins. I'm the chief judge for the contest.
He's
So
more
you can
than
shoot
a
at me
chief
if you
judge.
want, yeah.
Dilip is a past international president. He was the outgoing president the year that I went to the World Championship. So this is a man full of knowledge and Toastmaster experience.
Well, I also
You should
know
be very
what
privileged.
Well, I know what Richard is going through
Yes.
because
How
I
many
competed
times?
twice at the World Championship, placed second in 1992. So I know what he's going through every step of the way. There are about 18 judges scattered in the audience. They're anonymous, they're not bunched in one place, they're scattered around. And they have a judging ballot.
The role of qualifying judges, you will get a copy of their previous speech, and you will verify that the new speech that they give is 100% new and original. So you just verify that, and you will fill out that form, and when they call for the counters, you hold up that form. I'm going to go ahead and take a roll call for the other judges. Please raise your hand when your name is called. Max Kane. Max is here. Adele O'Neill. Thank you, Adele. Ralph Wallace. Joseph Dutjevic.
The stage at International is showtime, right down to marks on the stage, where they're going to be when they say this and where they're going to be when they say that.
So this is the areas where I have to apparently hit as I speak. And then I go all the way to here that's the farthest left I go, and then the farthest right is over there, which that's about the limit of my movement. But then I have to at one point go up to the edge of the stage. So say this is the edge of the stage. And then I got to cross over, so that's it. You know, I can do it. See how far we get. I find myself at the age of 58 wondering how often have I actually listened to my heart. I mean, really listen. The great actor James Earl Jones once said, "One of the hardest things in life is having words in your heart that you cannot utter." I pondered, I ruminated, I reflected on that quote until I realized that for me, one of the hardest things in life is having words in my heart that I don't try to utter.
All right? Yeah, I'm fine. It's a lot of work, huh?
It is. As I tell people, it's not the foot, it's the fat. Which I think I already told you. But I'm tired, so. Deja vu moments happen on 4 hours of sleep.
I was walking out of the convention center and I happened to notice Rich, but what got my attention was two things. One, he was sweating profusely. And two, he was leaning against the glass wall.
I was up late in 06, and I actually couldn't fall asleep until about 5 o'clock in the morning in 06.
Really?
So I was operating on virtually no sleep.
Do you often go through this, Rich?
Actually, I haven't gone through it quite this bad in a long time, so I'm quite
Do
sure
I
it's
need to get some medical help for you?
No, I'm just gonna take a seat for a little while because I think it's just standing.
You'll be okay?
I will be. I'm young.
You've been going through a lot just to go to this contest, right, haven't you? Now, I understand that being an amputee, that has its challenges. And I was concerned for him. He looked fatigued, beyond just tired. He looked literally fatigued. Is there any maybe like a chair, a wheelchair to get you over there?
Yeah, but I'm giving you a speech about how great it is to walk.
No, I understand. But the way you're puffing right now, I'm concerned. You may not need to give your image is one thing, Rich. But, you know, if I can get a ride, I'll take a ride. My heart is concerned that maybe the stress of having to change his speech. This is the big dance, his second time through. He earned the trophy the last time he did this, and he really wants this. Who doesn't?
Grateful and honored to be your contest master of this event. We're going to have a great time. All of us together. We're in this together. But as Bill said, just have fun. All right, let's draw for speaking order.
All right, I have again the little slips of paper with numbers on them. Please be careful that you just select one. If you accidentally select two, don't look at them.
And my friends came too. I don't know if they're here yet.
What? Yeah, speech time.
My title?
Let's see.
Unthinkable.
My badge, yes. And that's my designation, which means I'm a competent Toastmaster, and that's my little gavel, because there's two different tracks. You can go on the speaking track or you can go on the leadership track. So, like I said, whatever aspect you want to work it from, it's basically up to you. Out of 30,000 people, these are the final 10, and I'm one of the final 10. So, trying to get there. And it's been 22 years since a woman won.
Oh, really?
So, I'm hoping that we can bring it home for the women, and never in history has the female been African American, so that would be a first for Toastmasters. Right, it's a big deal. I have lupus, and I battled some really tough things and was in the hospital at one period for about 4 months. And when I got ready for this trip, was wondering how I was going to finance it. My club handed me $700 and said, this helps towards your, we just called around to all of the members, and it really is.
I'd like to quickly toast Rich for bringing us all together via email and the impetus that ultimately led to this dinner. Thank you for letting us share all this experience together, Rich.
To Rich. I think it's a wonderful thing that they have tried to bring in, a camaraderie that allows us to not think this as being a contest as much as just being a chance for all of us to say something. Or a chance to show what Toastmasters has done for each of us.
Basically, I don't like props. They've never worked for me. I figure if I can't paint a picture in people's mind with the words I use and my body language and voice, then I should, do something else.
7 of the 10 contestants were there last night. 3 world champions were there and some friends. I spent a lot of time trying to match up the people in person with the people I had envisioned from the emails that we've exchanged. And for the most part, my mental image was a fairly close match. There was one individual who was a little sharper in temperament than I had expected.
Charlie, are you comfortable with what you got to do? Listening to yourself over and over again today. You still hearing the same thing when you play it?
To see her going from that mom that plays basketball in the backyard with her son to going to the park playing football to playing tennis with her son to cheering at the basketball games to seeing her bedridden has been a difficult journey, very difficult journey. And now to see her back up, still not at full capacity health-wise, but to see her competing, enjoying what she's doing, Toastmasters has been wonderful from that aspect because it's given her an opportunity to focus on something other than her health.
Somebody needs to hear your story, and nobody can tell it like you can. And when you do tell that story, you can change somebody's life.
To get to this level in 4 years, and I think she's had 5 or 6 surgeries in that time and been 2 or 3 near-death experiences, she's already a winner to me.
Here is just too close.
Okay.
Here is for you and me, for us. But for them, don't forget, you got people sitting back looking at screens. They're so far back, it's a rumor to them. It's not really, it's not live, it's like a recording. So my mom made sure I never got shut up. I was in poetry contests, oratorical competitions. I mean, show us. I mean, not just right here. But I was in poetry contests, I was in this, I was in that, One more time. My mom made sure.
For the next 20 years, my mama made sure that I never got to shut up.
Right.
I was in poetry contests, oratorical contests, Easter speeches, always being given that same command, speak.
Okay, again the pause. Always being given that same command. Here it comes. Speak.
want to make money on the internet, I found it. Within 8 months, I lost all but 2 of my clients. I learned how to run a business into the ground. I was complaining to my brother Guy, and he said, "It's not that you're a bad businessman. Your business is suffering because your heart is with those kids. You need to go home. Go home." Oh yeah, you need to go home. Oh yeah, I believe it. I am truly blessed. Since then, I've learned that whenever I get into a jam, I try not to be so smart. I just follow my heart. Mr. Contest Chair.
I love that, Martin.
I know,
Okay,
I
I
know.
love that. You go for, you want to send me
No,
your...
I'm only going to say a couple things.
Okay.
I was just counting smiles and laughs. I think you'll get 5 smile moments.
Good.
And I think you'll get 2 fairly
Yeah.
strong laughs.
Yeah.
That's what I counted. The only thing...
We're all alike, really. We all have similar experiences. If they just know that before they ascend the stage, then they'll resonate. But if they feel that they have to turn you around and convince you, they may not resonate quite as authentically than if they just come from their own heart and soul.
That's it up there. It's the big stage.
What an exciting morning we have ahead. 10 of the most talented speakers in our organization are competing here today in the finals of the International Speech Contest.
Let the contest begin. Speaker number 1, Rich Hopkins. Unthinkable. Unthinkable. Rich Hopkins.
What happens if we actually go all out, put everything into something, and then it fails? Because then you're left with failure. The x-rays of my ankle looked like the last days of my first car. The transmission was shot, the brakes were gone, no amount of duct tape would keep it together. I asked my doctor what my next surgery would be. His answer was unthinkable. Trade it in for an upgrade. Could you give up something you've worked your whole life to keep? Even if it didn't work exactly right? Even if it has always held you back? I was stuck between dream and do for nearly 2 months, crawling, arguing, praying, just to get to that unthinkable thought. It wasn't easy, not at all. But once I thought it, once I did it, now I'm 100% Corvette. Ah, there's nothing like that new foot smell. Don't settle for stuck. If you can dream it, you can do it. I know you've heard it 1,000 times because it's true. If you're willing to think
the unthinkable. Mr. Contest Chair. I screwed up about 3 times, but I don't think the audience noticed. If they did, I picked it up again. I got everything I needed to say said. The energy was good. I got the laugh that I wanted.
You know, is the icing. But I don't think it would mean everything. I said that before, but I don't think that's right. It wouldn't mean everything. Everything is just having the kids enjoy the experience. 10 years ago, Patty and I lived about 3 hours north of here with her 2 small children from another marriage, Kaylee and Alex. About a month after moving in together, we realized our future together was anything but secure. It just wasn't working out. So after another fight in the middle of March of 1998, in the middle of the night, I packed up my bags and left. It was the hardest decision I've ever made. But after being in Calgary for about a month, I kept thinking about how much I missed the kids. I was free of Patty, but I kept thinking about my kids. So one day I called her up and I said, Patty, can I talk to the kids? And she said, sure, here you go. When I heard Alex's voice, he was 16 months old at the time, I completely lost it. Patty has done an amazing job at raising those kids. Her heart has always been in the right place. My kids' hearts are always in the right place. Because of her, I learned that my heart needs to be in the right place. I hope you think back at some point in time on this day today. Are you closest to the people that you love the most right now? Look around you. Because if you are, your heart is in the right place. Mr. Contest Chair.
Next year. It's always next year, right? Next year I'll be ready. I won't rewrite a speech 72 hours before the contest, but I had to. The other one just sucked. You gotta do what you gotta do.
My friends, remember this. Life does not owe you an answer. You have to find your rhythm. When death knocks on your door, open it, get dressed up, put on your best shoes, and say, I had the dance of my life, till we meet again in the distant shores. Mr. Contest Chairman.
My wife, Robin, has been in poor health for some time, and she said to me one day, do you want a divorce? I said, what on earth for? She said, because I'm dragging you down, and you should have a good life. I said, no, I made a promise in sickness and in health, for richer, for poorer, for better, for worse. You're my best friend, my lover and companion. That's the deal. I'm not going anywhere. And besides that, no one else will have me.
If I don't win, then it's still a lesson learned. It'll sting for like a day, but then I'll just take home with me the fact that I actually got on that stage.
Catherine, baby, you have so much promise and potential. We need to go ahead and get you started on your college applications. College? Miss Jackson, I can't do that. I can't go to college. I'm not smart enough. Who told you that lie? Honey, I have been accounts for years, and one thing I know is this. If you show 1 ounce of promise, the people around you will try to pull you down. So they tell you lies in the hopes that you believe them. If it was not for the power of her words, I would not be nearly the woman that I am today. And I am a college professor. And I model my style of mentoring after Miss Jackson's. And one day, just out of the blue, one of my students says, Dr. Morrison, you just make me feel like anything is possible. And I am honored to be her Miss Jackson. So the next time you hear those voices that tell you that you cannot do something, baby, don't believe them.
It's exactly how I practiced it, so. And now it's just in the judges' hands, so we'll see after that.
My life has just been a series of accidents, so I really have no homilies to dispense to anybody out there. I just have 7 minutes. I just want to do 7 minutes of material that is good.
This heart-stopping episode has taught me that a meaningful life cannot be analyzed, rationalized, or even logically articulated. A meaningful life can only be found when we tell our guys or our gals to just be still for a moment and allow our hearts to silently but powerfully speak. And if we really listen, our hearts will guide us through a life of love and compassion. Shh. Listen. Our hearts are speaking. Mr. Contest Chair.
I think it went fine. You know, it's not a great speech, but listen, I really just wanted to get through it. I wanted to have fun. It was fun. I wanted to say something. Felt like I said it. I don't know. What else can you do?
You made your sister cry, too.
I made my sister cry? Really? She cried? Well, that makes it worthwhile. Doesn't it?
If you have sons, daughters, sisters, brothers, parents, or friends who have drifted apart, isn't it time that you make that call? Don't be like me and wait until the person in the mirror turns gray. I waited way too long to do the most important thing I have ever done in my life. How long will you wait? Hopefully somebody will make a call tonight that they wouldn't have made otherwise.
And that was the most important thing.
That was the most important thing. Now I get to take a honeymoon. So,
where are you going?
Well, we're going down through the Rockies and then we're going to cruise to Hawaii.
I took my youngest son, Stephen, on his first motorcycle ride. He climbed on board and we blasted around the neighborhood at 17 kilometers per hour. Oh, sorry. For my fellow Americans, that's about 11 miles per hour. I wasn't sure if he was enjoying himself or not until he came to a stop and he jumped off and he said, "Yeah, that was awesome!" How many times have we missed out on awesome moments like that? Because we get so caught up in day-to-day life.
I'd generally be off to the side of the stage here with my mom. She'd say, "LaShonda, go ahead. I'll be right here when you get back." And I would take center stage thinking to myself, not if there is a God. But then I would have to sing, some glad morning when this life is over, I'll fly away. And I was flapping, but it wasn't any flying. And just as she had promised me, there she was. I had to go with her because I was a bad child, and there was no way anyone was leaving that church with me. Mr. Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and anyone who views logic as important, when I finished that song, I'd give my curtsy, I'd run into her arms. She would grab me up as if she had just rescued me. But if someone knows that you cannot swim, and they hurl you into the deep end, but then dive in to save you, is that a rescue? So when I speak about lupus, a disease that I have, and it's okay, it's not contagious, I speak in a loud voice because I know that I may not be able to save my own life, but one day I might save someone else's. See, I believe that we aren't half afraid of dying as we are that no one will remember that we were ever here. I spent 4 months in the hospital one time, and it hurt me to speak, but I allowed my pen to speak for me. I wrote, one day we will no longer speak. We'll simply sneak to the other side of life's portal. But our words are like seeds that we can sow on this side to make our lives immortal. The words that used to scare me so as a child now bring me comfort because I know this much. Some glad morning when this life is over. My mom can't save me today, but she said she'd be delighted if you would do it for her, Chairman Schmidt.
I was a 25-year-old man. I looked about 18, and I had no children. My students were all women, half of them mothers. And the topic for the day was pregnancy and childbirth. Teaching is about reaching out to someone who needs to learn and daring to make a real and meaningful impact.
Please thank once again all of our superb speakers today in the contest.
So the judge asked, how is their speech development? How effective are they? What is the value that they're giving the audience? And then the top three, according to each judge's ballot, get listed. And the bad counters give this to the chief judge. They retire to a counting room where each contestant's name is listed, and then they are assigned points as to whether they were chosen at first, second, or third by each judge. We probably started with about 30,000 contestants around the world. And after all these steps, going to the club, area, division, district, regional, and inter-district, and the world championship, one person ends up holding that trophy.
So how long after a heart attack are you still feeling it?
Well, actually, it doesn't. It's just it goes into this rhythm that I die. It wasn't shocked. So 15 seconds later, shocks me.
How are you feeling?
I want to just cry. But you did so well when you bring it up.
finding out the results.
Thank you and congratulations to our outstanding speakers today.
For our fabulous contestants this morning, only one of you will be going to the moon today.
That would be you.
But every one of you have accomplished something incredible by being on this stage this morning. And yes, let's give them all another round of applause. Your third place winner today, Dr. Catherine Morrison. Today. He's got the rhythm, Logandran Krishnasamy.
You were awesome. I want you to know that you blessed me, you nailed it, you delivered, and the audience loved you.
Thank you.
I had a great trainer.
Give me
Mama.
your in the hallway late at night. Shonda, give me the gum.
It's your mama.
Fellow Toastmasters, friends, if the time has come to have another woman president, the time has come. LaShonda
What did I tell you? You okay? Somebody please rescue me. A Toastmaster being speechless is probably a rarity, but I have so many things that I would like to say. 2 years ago when I went into the hospital 4 days before Christmas, unconscious, when my 11-year-old son at the time called 911, I didn't know that I would be here to celebrate this moment. And through the 6 surgeries that I've been through in the past 2 years, I made a promise to God. And I told him that if he would give me an opportunity to live one more day, I would make sure that the world and nations would know his greatness. I am happy and honored today to be able to deliver on my end of the deal. I love you.
As soon as she got done, I knew that she was going to be the winner. I knew that I was not going to top that. So and she absolutely deserved it. She just blew away the competition. If it was not unanimous, it should have been.
Yeah, I gave it my best shot.
What do you think of LaShonda's speech?
LaShonda's speech was better. Better than mine, emotional, a lot of humor. And she deserves it.
Hey, Rich.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I won.
You did win?
Yes.
Yay. Congratulations.
Thank you. I told him that I thank you for not having to think that dinner was ready because I'm practicing and it's just a microwave going off anymore. The camera crew is around right now. They won't leave. Say something interesting so they can believe you're intelligent.
E equals MC squared.
It's incredible that we both placed. I don't think there's been a time in Toastmasters history where that's actually happened. I'm not even sure. Have two women placed at the same? Yeah. Yeah, some good. I'm not even sure two women have placed, period. So we represent it.
Fantastic. You know what? When I think about her and how she survived, I have to think about myself. I was a battered wife. Yeah. Would you believe it? No, I made it, and she did too.
Process was the most difficult process I've ever gone through in my life.
And so right now, what do you think is next for Rich Hawkins?
Going home, trying to fix my life.
How are you going to do that?
Don't know. I got a plane ride to figure it out.
We went in confident. We went in believing with all our hearts that it was going to work out for the best, and I still think it did. When you give your whole heart to something, then I think that you come out a winner no matter what happens. And I'm proud of him, and I think that this is just the beginning of where God's going to take us. I was really worried about how he was going to be after he got home, because I know that we did work so hard for this, and we did, blood, sweat, and tears, and I was just afraid that he was going to come home and be depressed. And he came home and he's not. And I think that we're on the same page this time, and I think it's a good thing. I think we're okay. Right?
Absolutely.
It's kind of nice, isn't it? I can't complain. I know you're so. Thank you. Thank you. Well, you should have a message in your heart, and when you get beyond trying to impress people rather than share with them what you're thinking, you lose your train of thought.
Let's get your tithes and offerings real quick.
I already have an invitation to come to Taiwan, to go back to Canada twice, California
twice,
South Carolina, Mississippi, and then just a couple of places to speak.
I knew that LaShawna was in the hospital because her lupus was acting up and affecting her kidneys. And so I took her to the operating room the first time. And indeed, she had perforated her small intestine. There was a hole blown open in her small intestine. And it's very uncommon to just have a hole form in your small intestine. And I'm not sure why she did. But it looked like there were going to be other sites that within a few hours to a few days were also going to do the same thing. It looked bad. And I was really concerned between the lupus and the way her small intestine looked. I didn't think there was any way she was going to make it. And so I went out and I told her family that I just didn't think she was gonna live.
To have the doctors say that she's not gonna make it or there's nothing else that they can do completely floored me. Felt like someone hit me in my gut and I couldn't get my breath back. And it was a reality check because all the thoughts, you know, the first thought that went through my mind was, how do I tell her son?
But I told them that I would go back a second time and look at the small intestine because I knew there was going to be a problem. There were other things I was going to have to deal with. And that's when I went back within, you know, a day or so. And indeed, all those sites that looked bad, you know, 6 or 7 or 8 of those required stitching because they had just spontaneously ruptured. And that's just a disastrous situation. And no one should survive that.
And my nephew came up and put his arms around me and he said, Aunt Sonia, he said, is my mom gonna die? Those are the times that things are really tough. Because I knew that at that point, I had to be honest with him. Excuse me. I had to be honest with him and say, Dennis, I didn't want to baby him and say, Mom, you know, Dennis, this is, you know, it's gonna be okay, your mom's gonna be all right. So I just looked at him and I said, Dennis, I don't know. At this point, it's in God's hands. And I said, all we can do is pray. And that's what we did.
I just found out that I think I probably set a record in intensive care because I think this is 50 days, 49 days maybe, in intensive care.
It was 13 operations of her just not giving up. I never thought she was going to make it after the first 2. I don't think I'll ever see that sort of damage to the small intestine and have somebody recover from that. So it's remarkable that she made it.
What's your Toastmasters group meant to you during this time?
Can't even describe it. Indelible debt to those guys. When I found out that they were sleeping in the waiting room trying to see what was going on, I mean, they're just an incredible group. I've had so many people walk through that door and go, you don't know me, but I'm a Toastmaster. Coming from all different places, bringing things and just telling me that they're praying for me.
Have you reflected on winning the World Championship?
It's been an incredible thing to reflect back on the contest and that day and the adrenaline and all of the things that happened leading up to that point, knowing that I was sick and just hoping that I wouldn't get too sick to go. And then just feeling this moment.
I wrote, one day we will no longer speak. We'll simply sneak to the other side of life's portal.
I wanted to do something, and I did it. And then to think about one of the lines in there where it says that we're not half afraid of dying as we are, that no one will remember that we were ever here. And knowing now that I got my mark on history, so it'll be kind of hard to forget that I was here. But I'm still here. Still have a lot of work to do. Still pray that all the work will get done.
Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests, have you ever felt your voice stifled, paralyzed, swallowed down in fear?
It's hard to walk away not winning. But if you're strong enough, you step up the next year and do it again. Over and over until you get it right.
Well, as I expected, even though I was tense in the moment, God comes through, and I had clients land in my lap and money came in, and I was able to meet the bills I needed to meet along the way. That's one of the reasons I'm up here, is because I have a greater opportunity for clients and for my business to prosper here in Spokane than I did there. In talking to my wife and saying, well, should we do this again? It was a matter of, can I go about this contest in a way that I'm not all about the win? I'm not all about competing and trying to be the best in that moment and be the best speaker, but to get up and give a message. And if I don't win, to be happy for the other contestants, to be a better loser than perhaps I've been in the past.
And today I'm here to tell you, each one of you, that you do matter.
And first place in the Area C4 speech contest, Rich Hopkins.
Got it down as much as you can get it down. If you don't have it down, you're not going to have it down. Give the speech 2,000 times in the last 3 years. Give it tonight, and you can just enjoy it. So just enjoy it. Good luck, Sean. Hey, and you too.
Your life tells a story, and there's someone out there who needs to hear it. You may think your story is not sensational, but it does not have to be sensational. It just has to be sincere. And if your audience can relate to you and your life experiences, and chances are they will, then you need to tell them what you have been through, share your life, share your love, and share your message with the world.
What if I was never here? Would you ever know me? If I won't speak, if I'm too weak, who will tell my story? When this song fades to black,